Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The community of Swift Current is mourning the loss of Paul Rezansoff, who passed away on April the 26th. The general public is always welcome to attend Swift Current City Council meetings. And at the recent meeting in Chambers, the room was filled to capacity. The city of Swift Current is planning to undertake a major upgrade on the 2nd Avenue Bridge to ensure its safety and longevity well into the future. Thanks for joining us here today. An icon in Swift Current's arts community has passed away. We have more in today's top story. The community of Swift Current is mourning the loss of Paul Rezansoff, who passed away on April the 26th. Rezansoff, a former visual arts teacher from Kamsack, moved to Swift Current in 1969 for a job at the Swift Current Comprehensive High School. Once in Swift Current, Paul ignited the arts community through his own passion for the visual and performing arts. His legacy will now live on through the development of the Art Gallery of Swift Current. Over 400 performances in the annual Stars for Saskatchewan series with the Swift Current Allied Arts Council. And the construction of a new performing arts center through the Sky Center at the Living Sky Casino. An impact in the community, which will be long remembered by those who worked closely with him over the years.
Paul was a mover and a shaker, as it were. He really, he got things happening. And he had a nice, bold personality, a very gentle man, but he had a strong opinions, and he was willing to speak them, and that was great, to have an advocate like that in the arts and heritage community. We needed a champion, and Paul was definitely a champion.
He was a real advocate for the arts, but in a good way. He was never. It was always just a positive way that he went about it. He promoted it for me in my early days on council. He made me see and understand that if we're going to grow the community, that having a thriving arts and cultural component is a way to do that. And that was a real, it's funny, he taught me art in high school, and that's a pretty valuable lesson he taught me later on in life as well.
Along with his accomplishments in the arts community, Paul Rezansoff made lasting friendships through his role with various organizations, from the museum to Tourism Swift Current, leaving a lasting impression of a humble yet focused individual, always looking to help the community move forward.
Always appreciated the recognition, but it's not why he did those things. One of the things he said to me was, "Do we really need another award show?" It's not what Paul was about, but he was worthy of everything that he was recognized, and I just really admire that man, and I know he's going to be missed by this community. I have nothing but respect for him and his family.
Now, I've had the opportunity to work with Paul on the tourism board for the last quite a few years, I guess, and really got to know him well, and really gained a deep respect for the man. And certainly his loss is going to be felt by the community, but he left us a heritage that is going to be with us for a long, long time.
Paul Rezansoff was a member of the Order of Canada and received numerous accolades, including the Queen's Silver, Golden, and Diamond Jubilee medals, and the Saskatchewan Volunteer Medal.
The sky is the limit.
I don't even know what to say. It's just amazing, and I'm so grateful for all the people that came out to support me.
Swift Current City Council has voted against a proposed daycare. We find out why in this report. The general public is always welcome to attend Swift Current City Council meetings. And at the recent meeting in Chambers, the room was filled to capacity. Local residents stepped forward to the mic to voice their reasons why a proposed development of a daycare early learning center at 512 Reed Crescent should move forward, followed by residents of the neighborhood opposed to the project, who cited their concerns of excess noise and traffic to this quiet neighborhood in the Highland subdivision. After hearing both sides of the story and a recommendation from city administration that the neighborhood was not properly zoned for this type of business, all of council voted against the proposed project.
One of the toughest things that you have to deal with as a councillor, despite everything that goes on with budgets and whatnot, is basically dealing with neighbors and neighborhoods when there's conflict or disagreements. And in this particular case, it wasn't an issue of whether a daycare service is something that our community needs. It was the location of it. In order for it to be approved, because it would be more of a commercial entity than a day home, it would have to be a discretionary usage. And because there was such an overwhelming majority of the immediate neighbors that were impacted, I think council had no choice but to, admin had no choice but to recommend denying it, and I think council had no choice but to support that because there was, as I said, such an overwhelming majority of the immediate neighbors.
Schaefer further adds that the city wishes the proprietors of the project all the best in the venture if they seek to find an alternate location within the city.
There are areas that are zoned in a residential neighborhood that would allow this type of usage in it, and hopefully this particular business venture continues to explore those opportunities, and certainly we'd be happy to help them do that.
Southwest TV News tried contacting the project lead of the proposed daycare. However, an on-camera comment was not available at this time. Federal funding will help kickstart a bridge project in Swift Current, with city officials hoping the check is in the mail. The city of Swift Current is planning to undertake a major upgrade on the 2nd Avenue Bridge to ensure its safety and longevity well into the future. Coinciding with the $4 million project is the hope that the city will receive funding from the federal government through the Building Canada Fund.
So now that the federal budget was approved last week and the funds were made available, now we're waiting on the province to decide which projects it wants to move forward through. Like I said, there's no hard and fast deadline, but they have indicated that around the end of April was when they intended to approve these projects so that they could actually be completed in this year's construction season.
Once this funding is secured, the city would only need to pay 1/3 of the project costs, with the federal and provincial governments covering the remaining 2/3 of the balance.
That's correct, yes. If it's approved on the Building Canada Fund, we would receive 66 and a little bit % in funding, and we would be responsible for the other 33%.
Once the funding is finally secured for the 2nd Avenue Bridge project and the tenders are awarded, work is expected to begin in the coming weeks, after which time a number of traffic detours will be planned throughout the duration of the project.
On this side wants to develop, and this person on this side wants to develop, and this one doesn't. What's the next bad word other than annexation? It's expropriation.
Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.